6, Lesson 5, Reasoning about Equations and Tape Diagrams, Part 2. I can draw a tape diagram to represent a situation where there is more than one copy of the same sum and explain what the parts of the diagram represent. So we're talking about more than one, so we're talking about groups of it. And I can find a solution to an equation by reasoning about the tape diagram or about what the value would make what value would make the equation true. All right, so I have equations, and I'm going to need to drag and drop them into the table. So in the first one, I have 5 groups of x plus 3. In the second one, I have 3 groups of x plus 5. They both equal 20, so I kind of have to be careful. So Elena ran 20 miles this week, which is 3 times, so 3 groups, as far as Claire ran. Claire ran 5 more miles this week than she did last week. So 5 more tells me to add, and the 3 times tells me it's 3 groups of it. An art class charges each student $3 to attend, plus a fee for art supplies. So it's 3 plus something. Today, $20 was collected for the 5 students, so it's 5 groups of x plus 3. Noah drew an equilateral triangle. Okay, equilateral triangle. I'm seeing a triangle, 3 sides. So I'm thinking it's going to be the one on the right. It says with a side length of x inches, and he wants to increase each side by x so that the triangle is still an equilateral and has a perimeter of 20. That's 3 groups of x plus 5. The last one says 5 gift bags contain x pencils. So he has 5 groups. They contain x pencils, and then Tyler adds 3 more pencils to each bag. So he's adding 3. So he has 5 bags with some number of pencils plus 3 in them. All right, so now we're going to look at it in this perspective. So this one, the first one says x plus 3, 5 groups of x plus 3. The second one says 3 groups of x plus 5. So I know that Elena ran 20 miles, which was 3 times, so that's 3 groups, as far as Claire ran this week. Claire ran 5 more miles this week than she did last week. An art class charges each student $3 to attend, plus a fee. So 3 plus the fee, and then there were 5 students attending the class. Noah drew an equilateral triangle. So I know an equilateral triangle is going to have 3 sides, and I know that they increased each side length by 5. 5 gift bags, I put some number of pencils plus 3. All right, so now they want to know what is the value of x. So I can solve it a couple of different ways. We've been doing this for several days now. So I know that I'm going to start with, well, first I'm going to change my color. I'm digging purple. Okay, there we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to subtract 5 groups of 3. So that would be 15. So 20 minus 15 is going to leave me with 5. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. So each x is equal to 1. Because 5 times 1 is 5. So now I'm going to solve it traditionally. So I have x plus 3, and that's in parentheses, times 5 equals 20. So I'm going to use the distributive property, and we've done this before. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15, and that equals 20. Now I'm going to zero out. So I'm going to subtract 15 on each side. 20 minus 15 leaves me with 5. And I have 5 groups of 5. I want to figure out what just 1 is. So I'm going to divide by 5 on each side. And I'm left with x equals 1. The other one, oopsie. So now I've got 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I'm left with 5. But this time I only have 3 x's. So I'm going to split it into 3 groups. So 5 divided by 3. So I get 1 2/3 or 1.6 repeating. So what is the value of x? So now I'm going to solve it traditionally. So the equation would be distributive property first. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15 equals 20. So I subtract 15 because I'm zeroing out on the side that has the variable. I'm trying to create those zero pairs where I can. Divide by 3 on each side. So I end up with x equals 5/3 or 1 2/3 or 1.6 repeating. All right, so a family buys 6 tickets to a show. They spend $3 on a snack. They spend $24 on the show. So I know right away the 24 goes here. I know they each spent $3 on a snack and they buy 6 tickets. So that's going to be, if I'm spending $3, so that's going to be the cost of the ticket plus the $3. And I'm going to have 6 groups of that. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's x plus 3, x plus 3. So I know that each person bought a ticket, so the x represents the ticket, and the $3 represents the snack. So, and each one did it. That's how I know that I have groups, because each person did it, and they spent a total of 24. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 groups of 3, which would be 18. So 24 minus 18 leaves me with 6. So I know that I have 6 x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that each x has to equal 1 because 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 times 6 groups is 24. So x equals 1. So now they want us to write an equation based on the tape diagram. So my equation is going to be 6 groups of x plus 3, and that's going to be equal to $24. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is 18 equals 24. Then I'm going to zero out, and I'm left with 6x equals 6. I want to figure out what just one x is going to be. So I divide by 6 on each side. So I find out that each ticket costs $1. All right, Diego has 24 ounces of juice. That's what he has in total. He pours equal amounts for each of his friends and then adds 6 more ounces for each. So he has 3 friends and he adds 6 more ounces for each. So that tells me each cup, not just in one cup altogether. So that's going to be x plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 6. So if I solve this, I'm going to subtract 18. So I'm left with 6. And then I have 1, 2, 3. I have to split that into 3 glasses. So 6 divided by 3 is going to give me 2. So each x is equal to 2. And I can check that by doing 2 plus 6, 2 plus 6, 2 plus 6. That's going to give me a total of 24, because 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. All right, so now they want an equation. So I know I have 3 groups of x plus 6, and that's equal to 24. Distributive property first, so 3x plus 18 equals 24. Zero out, because I want to create that zero pair on the side with the variable. Then I want to find out for just one x. So I'm splitting those 3 x's into just one x. So I'm left with x equals 2. So he started with 2 ounces of juice in each glass, and then he poured 6 more into each one. Last one, here's your diagram and corresponding equation. Find the solution. Okay, so I'm going to start with the tape diagram first. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that leaves me with 18, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. So I have to split that 18 into 6 groups. So 18 divided by 3, each x, not divided by 3, divided by 6, crazy me. And I find out each x has to be worth 3. So now I'm going to solve it traditionally. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 1 is 6 equals 24. I'm going to subtract 6 on each side because I want to zero out. And I'm left with 18 equals 6x because I want to zero out on the side with the variable. And then I want to find for just one x. I want to find for just one. So I'm left with 3. X equals 3. So now you have your cool down, same concept as before. I need you to solve it. I need you to put your answer in Canvas. If you need help, there's Practice on Khan Academy. Mr. Morgan has help videos. Email a study buddy or set up an appointment on Calendly.